disturb me. I just wanted to know, I did not hear, did they say what the name of the hospital was?
You know, I meant to ask that. We'll have to get that. In fact,
It was a clinic that did the...
I'll look at the internet
Okay, I'll
and
try
pick it up from
tomorrow.
there. No, the thing is, you might be able to pick it up. Baby
Ashton.
Baby Ashton castrated in Memphis clinic.
Yeah.
Put that in. I haven't done it yet, but that's how you would pick up the location and whatnot. Also, he did say the Memphis Channel 13 and Memphis Channel 5. Go there.
Yes.
Okay? All right, my sister?
Two doctors, Diego and Lou.
She said that Lou was the doctor along with two other individuals. Dr. Diego was not there on the day that the incident occurred.
Well, I hope she's not listening, because they butchered this baby, and I'm not that forgiving, because somebody in there knew what they were doing. So even if there were two people in there who didn't have a license, somebody knew what they were doing, and I don't think they should be let off at all.
Well, it's
not even a little bit, because, see, we act crazy when we don't need to. This is the time to get crazy. It just took this little boy's life from him, life source from him. I mean, that's too much. That's too much. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sis. Mm-hmm. And what is important, a number of things are important, and that is to share the information that you get on this program and the other talk shows that we have. And Dr. Velva Bowles, would you go into? Okay, Dr. Velva Bowles is giving me. She's a producer over here. And she's giving me information. And then there's another brother. He's outside the door. I tell him to come in. He walk away from the door. So I hope he hears me. I hope he hears me. Dr. Bowles.
Yes, sir.
Please give your assessment, including castration, etc.
Two things, and I my condolences, and I'm like you, the last sister that called in. This makes me more than a little sad. It makes me angry, because first of all, let's do a real term review, and I'll cap this in about 90 seconds or less. Circumcision, by definition, is simply removing the tip of the skin on the penis, and what results is the glands, or the thumb-looking part of the penis. And to do that is usually a device. You place a cap on the tip of the penis to protect it, and you pull the extra skin over that little cap, and you slip a ring over the skin, and then trim outside of the ring. And the reason there's no blood is you've already tamponaded it by that procedure. And yes, it should take about 20 minutes. Now, some would say young babies, you can have where the penis recedes into the abdomen, but a skilled person does not have a problem securing the penis without damage. Now, if she said so much blood, what worries me, and from what I hear, the caption said castration. Castration has nothing to do with circumcision. Castration, as any farmer will know, is the removing of the testes. So if you cut the testes, you have a testicular artery. And yes, if you cut an artery, you will get a lot of bleeding. So if they were castrating this child, they were absolutely not doing what was required in order to get a circumcision. So I'm really surprised or a little thrown off as to what did they really do? Because bleeding says to me they hit some major vessel, and if in fact the vessel they hit was the testicular artery, yes, that would be blood everywhere, because any artery parts from the heart. So I don't understand what happened, because I don't have enough information, and I sincerely hope that the lawyer Sweets get the paperwork.
We have a call on the line. Caller, your question, please.
Yes, I basically make a statement that everyone out in the audience should really do their research before they go into these hospitals, because they are butchering and murdering our people. And if anyone can go to the library and get a book called The Pill Book, which is put out by Bantam Press, it's by all of the pharmaceutical companies, and it lists all the side effects of their drugs because they're murdering our people. My mother went into the doctor, and they gave her medicine to thin out her blood and her cholesterol, and this thing was causing her pain. And I went and asked her doctor, I said, well, you give my mother all of these drugs, what is the side effect of these combination of drugs? And she looked at me like, and couldn't answer the question because no doctor can answer those questions. And I would like your guests to comment on these.
Well, you're really asking a question when it's, what I said, my mother would say, hit the iron while it's hot. The reason I'm in New York City is to get some continuing medical education units, and a national program called PriMed puts on various conferences to help those of us who want to stay up to date on what's going on in America and the laws and regulation and guidelines. And your comment is right on point. Most of the meeting was spent with a number of who they refer to as authorities explaining the new guidelines and trying to compare them to old guidelines and then giving their opinion on how to put it in place. So it's not a simple, straightforward situation. Your pharmaceutical companies, I think they do a great job when they give you the inserts that come with medicine, because every insert should give you information on dosing, side effects, and interaction.
And caller, we have another caller on the line. Thank you for your call. God bless you on the Black Air. Young lady.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of us eating turkey, I think we need to get together and help this sister and keep that money out of the supermarket. This is a disgrace.
Wow. Love that.
Really a disgrace. I will be sending my check as soon as you let me know, Brother Leroy, where to send it.
And thank you very much, my sister.
Have a blessed day.
God bless you. And this is WHCR. Didn't give the number. Those are folks who know the number automatically. the number is 212-650-6903. 212-650-6903. This is the Communicators. We're in the last 15 minutes. We have in studio our guest co-hostess, and that is Sister Dr. Velva Bowles, whom you heard interviewed on the Communicators and Respect for Life. We also have our regular black co-host, and his name is Black Sing K, coming to you out of 365 degrees of triple darkness. He's on social media, Twixing, and I don't even know how to Twix. But anyway, the sister laughed at me. She said, "Dag, Leroy."
Come on, you tweet. That's how, look at Minister Farrakhan. That's how he's keeping up with the young folk.
And we have also the brother who got us involved in radio up here at WHCR. And as a result of that, we have Tariq Tao, we have Daia, we have young brother Patrick, and we have brother Ricky Young, we have Kazar, we have Harja, and we're talking about the granddaddy of black radio, and that is brother Wali Abdul Noor. And he's a very humble brother, but I'm just telling you the truth. It's better to give accolades while people are in a position to receive a free meal from you, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a hit. Not no flowers. They give this brother a meal. He'll sit down and go technical with you. 212-650-6903. 212-650-6903, and you'll be on the air with us all, your comments, your observations. The Final Call newspaper last week had the issue dealing with Brother Kendrick Johnson, who was murdered in Valdosta, Georgia, and that was attorney Shaveen King and Kendrick Johnson's dad, and that was in the Final Call last week. Once again, getting information out that needs to be gotten, and that is why you should read black media. You should tune in to black radio programs regardless of what station it's on, because we're only on for a minute, and by God's grace we're on, and we mean that sincerely. By God's grace we're on. This kind of information that we're sharing today, somebody does not like it, And we always encourage you to show your support of WHCR by contributing. And I pointed out to a brother yesterday, it is not the size of your contribution. Don't wait until you hit the number, the combination, or the bellita. Just send in $5, $7 and let people know that there are folks out there who support what we're doing. 212-650-6903 on Black business. Very quickly, and that is the theme that's being promoted in the Final Call newspaper. Business is warfare, what is required for our economic independence, and it's a continuation of a series. And the front page of the current issue is Kanye West, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, T.I., and it says celebrity and accountability. The brothers and sisters who make tons of money based on their original creativity, what are they doing as it relates to the community? And nothing is there engraved in stone as to what they should do or what they have to do. Because if you, in the course of a day, if you walk 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, Lenox Avenue, Malcolm X Boulevard, you will pass young brothers who are, you think they talking to themselves, but they going through these rap rhymes. Well, a year from now, you'll see them on stage making $gazillion. They didn't have no consciousness when you saw them today walking down the street. What says they have consciousness a year from now when they're making $gazillions of dollars? So it's not that they have to do anything, it's what we have to do. 212-650-6903. The Amsterdam News talks about stop and frisk. And there was a conference that Sister Agnes emailed me on. Stop and frisk is let me see, we're going to stop and answer this phone. God bless you on the Black Air.
Yes, my question or comment is about the Jay-Z, and I did see the Final Call. I want to get that paper. But about what are you thinking? I want Sinclair to also comment on this. I see Jay-Z is going forward with his collection of Barneys. And I want to know what you think about it. And your guest, your co-host, does she have a book? It seems like I heard her on before. Can you mention that if she has a book? Mention that also.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Thank you for your call, brother.
Dr. Bowles, go first.
Well, yes, I have a book. Thank you so much for asking. It's called Salute a Reaction. It's one of 4 books, but Salute a Reaction was an appeal to the Black community to take back their health care. And short of going into any more, I was explaining earlier that I was attending some medicine continuing education units here in New York City, and I'm here to tell you we must take back our health care. And if we have time, or if another time, I'll go over what my experiences were here in New York City over the last 3 days. I've shared a little bit of it with Brother Leroy, but it didn't surprise me, but it did make me angry, and I'm slow to anger. But the book is Salutary Action, and the intent is to first remind the Black American slave descendants of the travesties that the U.S. government, Public Health Service, Center for Disease Control have perpetrated against us over the last recent times, like 50 years, and to advise them going back to farming and getting organic food from the ground can save us from many of the cancers, diabetes, and hypertensions that is killing our nation and making pharmaceutical companies rich.
Dr. Bowles, in a minute and a half, give your assessment of kidney failure among Black people.
Wow. If America wanted to do an overnight genocide, all they'd have to do is stop funding dialysis. We are 14.1% according to the census in the United States, and we make up more than 68% of all hemodialysis patients. That means 3 days a week you go and sit for 4 to 7 hours to have your blood cleaned because your kidneys are gone, and your kidneys are gone because you did not adhere to anti-hypertension medication and or diabetic recommended. But had we been eating properly, we would not have the problem of hypertension or high blood pressure or diabetes.
And what's that medication that you said they continually prescribe?
Hydrochlorothiazide. Every Black person that has any elevated diastolic blood pressure, which is the number on the bottom, folks, let me give you a quick education. target 140/90 is as high as any blood pressure should be anywhere. But there is a conspiracy, if you want to call it, where many black folk are told that it's okay when they're walking around with blood pressures of 170/90. That is how you get on hemodialysis. Textbook recommendation for everybody else is 120/70. For black folk, 140/90. Now, why is it that you can carry a pressure that much higher? You shouldn't. All human beings function better, live longer, have better health when the pressure is better controlled. But if you're talking about a blood pressure with the bottom number over 90, like 103, 110, 105, every day it's over 90, you are killing a kidney cell.
That medication, how would they know?
HCTZ is how most people know it. H is in Harry, T is in Tom, C is in Charlie, and Z is hydrochlorothiazide. HCTZ.
And that's what the doctor said. He would say,
Well,
I'm recommending HTC.
In medical school, because I can just tell it, when I was doing my training in clinicals, they said black people do not afford or cannot afford the medications which many pharmaceuticals can recommend that will help us maintain better blood pressure. So they give you what is cheap. And they know that HCTZ, hydrochlorothiazide, will make you urinate and can reduce the blood pressure on the bottom. We also know HCTZ can cause gout in most black men. So if you're on a blood pressure medicine, HCTZ, and you have gout, guess what? They're going to give you 2 more pills. One of them is allopurinol, and the other is colchicine. So it is not geared necessarily to your best health and your pocketbook, but for the best of the pharmaceutical companies. So if you check and you got HCTZ, and it may be in combination, they even will put it with another drug. And if you look at the label, it'll have the name of the drug, then it'll have a number, a slash, and another number. The second number is usually the amount of HCTZ added to your blood pressure pill.
Brother Sinke, real quick on that Barney's thing. We have another call.
Yeah, basically, I'm not surprised. I believe Sean Carter, Jay-Z, is an apologist for anything capitalistic that he can, make a profit off. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all by his response.
Have you ever signed a contract? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that contract with Barney's was signed way black. So the brother can't automatically back out. I'm not defending him. I'm just laying out. People say, yeah, man, he should back out. Well, if he backs out, they're going to have him on the back end.
No, it's not. I'm not even saying so much back out, but I'm just saying whatever he says, I'm not really surprised because whether it be Barney's or whatever, he's usually an apologist because for whatever the cause may be, because he's not about taking any money out of his pockets. This is the sort of capitalist that he is. That's basically it.
You're cold. We have calls ringing off the hook. And we got Sister Sports. She come in and I thought she went to the Jets game today. she ain't gonna give that up. She gave her ticket back. She said these Negroes took my time a couple of weeks ago. They ain't gonna do it. Calling you on the Black Air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the Black Air.
I just have a quick question about that horrible story from Memphis. The young lady never mentioned police. If you have her again, would you ask her if she reported it to the police? Because certainly those people should have been arrested. I mean, that is like gross child abuse. Wouldn't he could have died, and they mutilated him.
Okay,
okay.
No, okay, all right. We'll ask on the next go around.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sis.
Bye-bye.
If I can make a quick comment, 2 things that when the lady kept saying not a cover-up, I can mention when that young lady left those premises, they now were in the clear. That's why they told her not to look for several days. That had she called 911 while she was in the lobby or as she took her screaming child, a complaint could have been filed. But once she took custody of her child and left the premises, that now you cannot without conclusion say these people hurt my child. They can counter and say he didn't look like that when he left. But had she asked for police while still on the premises, photographs could have been taken. She could have made the allegation of child abuse. And yes, you would have had criminal interaction at that time.
I just learned something.
Caller, you on the Black Air.
Yes, good afternoon, and God bless you to you and your guest. I just have a quick question for the sister. She was speaking about
HCTZ.
Right, and I didn't understand if you're saying you shouldn't take it And is there an alternative if someone is taking it?
Okay, first of all, everybody tells you never stop a medication without discussing it with your physician, so I hope you have that relationship. Hydrochlorothiazide is a diuretic. Diuretics is a whole class of medication, and yes, there are many alternatives. We have Lasix is another one many people know. Bumax is another one many people may not know. Spirolactone is one. So yeah, there are a family of diuretics that are used for blood pressure and other reasons. But the hydrochlorothiazide has become a knee-jerk response. When you say Black American hypertension, they say hydrochlorothiazide. And I think that, first of all, is prejudicial training. And secondary, I don't think there's education among us, we black folk, to know to say, you know what, I'm interested in getting my blood pressure better. What is my alternative with other than HCTZ?
Oh, okay. So they should ask, if they're given that, they should ask, what are my alternatives?
Absolutely.
And they should also familiarize themselves with the question of what are the effects of this particular medication. And we're at the end, ladies and gentlemen, and vendors on 125th Street. We were scheduled to interview one of the businesses being moved out from 125th Street, the only black business. There's Golden Crust, there is Fishers of Men, there is the new Japanese store that's there, and the fabric store, the African fabric store. So there are 4 businesses that are being affected by a redevelopment, and we were scheduled to get one side of their story. But in the meantime, we should be conscious of supporting the businesses along 125th Street that belong to people that look like you and think like you and employing people like you. And the vendors and also the businesses, we're always promoting Sister Neffy, Craig Mueller, she's in front of Pay Half. Brother Melchizedek is right next to her. He has the DVDs of Minister Farrakhan and Brother Nuri. Also, Brother Vendor Joe on 127th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. He has a wealth of information there regarding Minister Farrakhan and other members. And also, you have a bow tie. Brother sells bow ties on 125th Street. I call him the bow tie man. He sells them along the state office building or across the street. You have Brother Jihad with DVDs, very economical DVDs of historic nature, and so forth and so on. But do support the vendors on 125th Street, especially during this time when a lot of us are just plainly giving our money away. And on that note, support black media, the Amsterdam News, the Beacon, the Daily Challenge. And remember, in the Amsterdam News, you have a page on black history and a page on health that you can read with your child, and they will understand it. So may God continue to bless all of you. Tomorrow morning, we're on Respect for Life. Continuation of an interview from last week. Papa John of Philadelphia will be with us. God bless you. Thank you for your support.
Good morning. I am Sister Glossary Holmes, asking you to stay close to Whcr 90.3 FM in New York. On the Sweet Spirit of Victory program, Sister Mary Jefferson and I, Sister Glossary Holmes, are on from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. every Monday morning. The Sweet Spirit of Victory is the most trusted spot for gospel and gospel classics. The Sweet Spirit of Victory, right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
Greetings, this is Honey from Harlem 411. Tune in to Harlem 411 Friday nights at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for information on health, education, housing, community events, and more. Harlem 411 serves information to you with the opportunity to call in with your questions. Harlem 411, produced to serve the community's needs. Let us serve you with information. Friday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Harlem 411.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Welcome to What's Going On. I'm your girl, Steph. I love sports. I love talking about everything from knockouts to big shots to Game 7 and game-changing plays. You need heart to win. That's right, heart. You'll think twice about everything you hear or see after my tape. Why? Because I'm changing the game. What's going on? I'll tell you. Sundays, 3 p.m. to 4:30 on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. Welcome. Glad you could make it. You know what I mean? It's cold outside. If the Super Bowl were played today, would you go? Let's do something else in the meanwhile. I'll come back to that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, what you're about to check out